Welcome to the Human Code podcast, the one about people who make a difference, not only for themselves, but for others too. Today we have Hanan Wehbi, who is an amazing person. She is more than one, and to try and define her in one title is not enough. She's someone who decided to leave her background, well-paid job and venture into the unknown, with working with communities in the Levant region to create the perfect olive oil to share with the world. Welcome, Hanan.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, really. When you told me the podcast is called Human Code, I was really impressed.
And you are one of the very few people I thought, if it is going to happen, it has to be with Hanan.
Thank you.
Hanan, you are the founder of Maknoon, which is dedicated to celebrating the rich heritage of olive oil from the Levant region. You're also a certified olive oil sommelier, and you go beyond that. You're also a brand builder and a mentor at Reach for entrepreneurs.
Correct.
Tell us, how did Maknoon come to you?
The idea of Maknoon came to me about 15 years ago. Of course, I didn't know then that it was going to be called Maknoon. But the idea came to me because I've been living in the UAE for 28 years. And I thought, I've always had this longing to my country. And whether I like it or not, I'm an immigrant. I don't live in my country. I live abroad. I was born in Saudi, and now I live in the UAE. I have a family here. My siblings are here. And deep inside, I always felt that I had some longing toward my country. I wanted to reach out to them. I wanted to bring something from them and share it with my friends here. Every time, whenever someone's traveling, someone is asking them to bring za'atar or olive oil or kishk or something from our country. So I've always wanted to do that link. And back in the days when I thought about it, it used to give me a good feeling. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know where to start. I wanted to bring everything from Lebanon. And obviously, as you know, throughout the years, more and more people were leaving Lebanon and leaving Palestine and leaving Syria. So it was a whole diaspora around the entire region. And I thought, how can I create something to link our country, or at least the people who have stayed behind, with the diaspora of probably tens of millions around the world. So I thought food. Food is always the one thing that gives you memories, whether it's in its smell or in its taste. It always gives you these memories of when you had it when you were a child. Again, 15 years ago, I didn't have the means. I didn't know how to do it. But every time I thought about it, I had a good feeling. Something inside me made me feel good. But anyway, it didn't happen, and obviously it didn't happen for a reason. Maybe it wouldn't have happened the way it happened now. Fast forward to, I think, 3 years ago, I thought it was actually a very special moment how this happened. If you want, I can tell you the events that led to me just starting.
Yeah, that moment that told you, go.
Yes.
Yes.
So I started thinking about bringing olive oil from Lebanon. But then I was thinking about the logistics of it, the shipping, the registration of the labels. It's a food item, the creating of a company. There were so many burdens, if you may. Logistical burdens that I thought, my God, starting a company, it must be very expensive. I might need certain approvals, etc. The revolution happened in Lebanon in 2019. Where people were taking the streets around the world, in Lebanon and around the world. There was one particular revolution that took place in Paris, in France. And Lebanese people went down to the street and they had signs, different signs about, what they want and their demands, and supporting, their Lebanese people who were at the same time filling the streets in Lebanon. There was one particular sign, and I emphasize, I'm having goosebumps talking about it. I emphasized on the word sign because it has a dual meaning. It was a sign that a woman was carrying, but also I feel like it was a sign from the universe as well. That said, Mama ba'ati li za'atar.
Oh my God.
First of all, it shows you what the Lebanese people are about. You know, yes, maybe they're on the street, they're demanding freedom, they're demanding certain changes on a political front. But to them, it's just the simple things that they want. They're in France or in the US or everywhere, but they're longing for something from their mother's home, which is za'atar, which is a very basic item. When I saw that, I was like, that's it, this is it. I need to create something that Lebanese people around the world can look into and can buy, and I can actually ship it to them, you know. And this is how Maknoon was born.
So it was from a sign where a girl is asking her mother to send her
Za'atar.
za'atar.
Yes.
Incredible. See, there is always that what I want. And that moment, you got the why
Yes.
you want it. That drive, that yes. So from there to Maknoon, where did the name come from?
The name. So my dad came up with a name. But also there's a story how that came about. So my dad is a poet, and they say Dalia in Arabic. So he's, you know, we grew up listening to him reciting poems about Mutanabbi, and he also is a writer and writes poems. He used to write poems for my mom, etc. So the Arabic language was really big in our household. And I knew I wanted to create a brand and I wanted to give it an Arabic name. It was only natural for me, given that I'm bringing it from these countries. So I texted my dad and I said, Baba, I am creating an olive oil brand. I want you to send me some name options. So he said, of course. And then he sent me, I think, around 10 or 12 names. And they were just different, something around, you know, not necessarily the food, but something around the tabi'a, nature. And I can't actually remember, and I wish I can go back to that list. Maknoon was one of them. But it did not connect with me, the name. It was just one of the names, right? And I thought, okay, let me just think about a few names. Few months later, I actually go to Lebanon. And I was still trying to create the company, trying to build the brand, trying to understand how to set up a company, etc. I was still in that time. It took a bit longer than I wanted. It took like maybe 5 or 6 months. And then I went to Lebanon and I was with my dad in the car. And my dad wanted to follow up on where my company is. And he said, Ya Baba, شو صار بمكنون? What happened with Maknoon? So my dad picked a name.
He chose it.
He chose it. But when he said, Ya Baba, شو صار بمكنون? It's like, it's not a name anymore because he was referring to the company and to the concept and to the business. So he brought it to reality. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He made it an entity. It wasn't a name anymore. And again, that moment was like, okay, Maknoon is done now. It's an entity and it has a name. So this is how the name came, but it's very important for me to explain what the name means. A lot of Arabic people actually don't know what it means. I mean, Arab speaking. Maknoon, first of all, it's mentioned in the Quran, so it's a proper Arabic word, and it's mentioned under وَاللُّؤْلُؤُ الْمَكْنُونَ. Maknoon means mahfuz, well preserved and cherished. And the reason why I picked this name, or my dad picked this name, is because usually olive oil needs to be preserved and protected from the light and from the heat. And I remember my grandmother used to put the olive oil tin and cover it with like a cloth or even like a blanket. And it used to be elevated from the floor. It had like a tabliya, like a khashab, a wooden platform,
Yes.
to put the tin on it because they used to cherish the olive oil. And the reason why this name means a lot more to me now than the actual name, meaning of the name, is because of the symbolism of how farmers protect and cherish their land, and they never leave their land no matter what happens in the country. Again, back to me being away from my country for 28 years. We traveled with my dad, we were looking for better opportunities. But these farmers, I say that they're rooted in their land, just like the olive trees. They're deeply rooted in their land. They never leave. I mean, I'm sure everyone remembers that picture of the old woman who was hugging the olive tree, because it means the world to them. This is their roots, this is their land, and this is where they come from.
And they also believe in the tree, the olive tree, being sacred.
Correct.
So there is respect for that tree. There is love. There was also the story of the man, they removed the tree, and then his granddaughter, I think it was made into a movie, brought the tree back to him.
Yes.
Because of that connection.
Yes. It's a 6,000, 7,000 year legacy, the olive tree. That's how old the olive oil is. And remember, back in Roman times, they used the olive branch as in the Olympics, they use an olive branch as a success
to crown
the emperor or to crown the winners. It is used as a symbol of peace, an olive branch. It's also associated with prosperity, because back in the day, only rich people could, because of the pressing, it was really hard. It wasn't like, they didn't have the facilities to press olive oil. So only rich people could press olive oil, and only the emperors used to drink extra virgin olive oil, because it was really hard to press, to extract, and to preserve. So wherever you look, there's always, a peace sign, a prosperity, success, wealth. It was, olive oil is always associated. Even the kings and queens are anointed with olive oil. That's the oil they use.
Symbol of abundance.
True.
On all levels. Symbol of abundance.
Yes.
Beautiful. Now that we know where the word comes from, how did Hanan go around finding the communities that she wanted to support? Because you don't only support, you started with Lebanon as the place you wanted to start with, but then it expanded.
True.
And you bring amazing olive oil from Palestine, from Syria.
And soon Jordan.
Yes. So you're promoting the Middle Eastern, which maybe it would have been easy for you to go to Spain or Greece or Portugal or Italy and get olive oil from there. But you made it your mission to bring it from those places. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
So look, again, I'm Lebanese, and I wanted to bring a product from Lebanon to my people around the world. But when I looked into olive oil, when I was learning about olive oil and how it's made and how it's planted and how it's extracted and all these things, I realized that the industry itself is a lot bigger than just olive oil from Lebanon. I needed to be true to the industry. I cannot be a Lebanese woman bringing olive oil from Lebanon saying it's the best olive oil. So there's also a credibility issue there. Also, as a brand consultant, I can tell you that, if you are inclusive, then you make the product or the brand bigger than you. So it was always about the olive oil, not about me, or not even about my country, Lebanon. So looking into the Bilad al-Sham, which is the Levantine, I realized that all the olive oil from the Levant region shares the same Mediterranean climate with Spain and Greece and Italy. So technically speaking, as a product, it's exactly the same. But the difference is these people had hundreds of years to cultivate and to market and to take care of their olive oils and to win awards around the world. And our people couldn't. So this is where I thought it's not fair, because we have the same sky, we have the same seasons, we have the same soil, we have the same sun, we have the mountains, we have the green fields, it's all there. So this is where the idea of, okay, why don't I then focus on this incredible olive oil that has the potential to win awards? And we have, by the way, in the last few years, we've won awards globally from Lebanon and from Syria. And this is where it was very easy for me because I saw a gap and I saw a potential. And I wanted to bring olive oil because remember, I'm in the UAE, so it's very, this is a multicultural community and you have over 100 nationalities. So people don't necessarily feel something specific about Lebanon or Syria or Palestine like we do in the Arab world. For them, this is the Middle East. So it was very easy for me to include all of these origins and educate people about olive oil. This is where I went to the university in Kalamata and I studied olive oil. It's, it's chemistry and how it is made and its origin and how you taste it and how you pair it with food because I wanted to understand in order to educate people about it. And I think this basically, is why I wanted to be inclusive from these three countries.
Wow, it's, no one can recognize the amount of work that you've done to get to this point because you kind of went back to school to learn all about
Yes.
something new.
Yes.
For you, you knew about olive oil, but not at this depth and level.
True.
And the fact you're also promoting it from these countries, you're also helping communities there to grow, which I believe it's much more fulfilling than
Yeah.
just bringing it from easier places.
Yes.
It's everything.
Yes.
Knowing that, I'm sure you faced challenges. I know that there was the logistics, but
Yeah.
even challenges to make it come where it is today, this far. Can you tell us a little bit about these challenges and how do you manage them? What keeps you going?
I mean, obviously, I have this huge smile on my face when talking about challenges because challenges are there, but when your why is strong, and I don't mean it in a cliche way, like, everyone says, know your why, but when you know your why, honestly, it becomes so much fun even going over these challenges. So look, in the beginning, I did not have the capacity to go directly to the farmers because I didn't know them. I didn't know where they are. If someone tells me this is called good olive oil, I would believe them, So I was working through a supplier, but I had a contract with him that the olive oil needs to be handpicked, cold pressed, extra virgin, with all the lab tests, with all the details, and it needs to be from certain origins, and everything needed to be documented and attested, etc. So I was going through a supplier, but slowly I started, building the brand, and farmers started coming to me. And I used to get messages on Facebook, and people find my number and text me and say, I have a small farm. I am doing this olive oil. Can you please buy 10 tins from me? If you buy these tins from me, I'm able to, pay my workers or, put food on the table. Like, there were so many amazing stories. And at the same time, I wanted to buy all the olive oil that everyone was offering, but I needed to be true to the brand and to the promise that I gave people that I will only bring the best extra virgin olive oil out there. So sometimes I would tell them, I'm sorry, I don't have the capacity now to buy, but, maybe next year. So I wanted to make sure that while I'm saying no, I'm also educating them. I'm always telling them, okay, well, this olive oil, maybe next year you do it this way or you do it that way. So after a couple of years of actually working through a supplier, I managed to connect with the farmers myself. So like I said in the beginning, and this is a very important lesson to entrepreneurs as well, when you start, it's okay if you don't get to the absolute objective immediately. It will come, just start, even if you have to use a couple of channels first to get to where you want. Maybe you want your own chocolate factory. Yes, that will come, but work through another supplier. Outsource. Outsourcing in the beginning is the most important lesson I would really tell everyone who wants to start. We all want to have our own candle making workshop or chocolate factory or sewing workshop. We all want that, but nobody starts like that. When you outsource, you learn from people's mistakes or at least even if it's slightly more expensive in the beginning to outsource because everything is more has margins, etc. But at least you learn without having the overhead that will make or break you if you don't get it right, which is what I did. I went through suppliers. But then when I was a little bit more informed about what does export and import means, what do, I even made the mistake of setting up a free zone because everyone was like, oh, you're doing e-commerce, you can create a free zone company. So I did. Turned out it was a lot more expensive than actually setting up in mainland. I realized, no, I need to import and export. I can't do it with free zone. So this is like a small example, for instance. So now I set up my company in mainland so I can import and export. So when I worked around the infrastructure that allowed me to go directly to the farmers and having even the purchasing power to buy directly from the farmers. This is what I did.
What do you want to contribute? What's your message?
So now that I was able to go directly to the farmers, I started calling them and I started actually visiting them. And I know I'm not able now to maybe go to Palestine and Syria, but I'm sure very soon I will be. So I went to farmers in Lebanon and I went and I visited their farms and I talked to them and we sat in the garden and we had tea and we went around all the land that they have and we looked at all the olive trees that they have. And I listened to them and I listened to their aspirations and I listened to their challenges. And that made me a lot more connected to them. And that kind of like was like an answer to everything that I wanted, is to connect with these human beings who maybe in the beginning they were just suppliers and I was getting their olive oil, but now I know who they are. Now I know their names. Now I sat and I had, tea and bread and biscuits with them.
So do you remember the first one you said that when your dad asked you, how's Maknoon going? That was your first biggest moment, like after the girl with the banner or the sign and the za'atar, then your dad. And now we can say this was the third stage,
100%.
which made even your why stronger and stronger.
This kind of concluded, it's like everything now is just so clear in front of me. Connecting with a human being is the biggest, this is the human code, right? This is why we're doing this. Eventually, it's not about the brand or it's not about the product. It's about the human being and then the human impact that you leave behind. So look, I am this, entrepreneur from Dubai, coming and this little girl, because, these farmers are like my dads. And I'm going there and I'm meeting with them and I'm like, I want to do this and I want to do that. And the way they actually welcomed me was mind-blowing. They took the day off. It was like a special day. They, I go there and they're just standing there waiting for me to come. There's a spread of like breakfast and food, and they call their kids to come and meet me and they tell them, this is Hanan, this is the lady who's selling our olive oil in Dubai. And to them, I'm selling their olive oil to royalty and to, companies, and I'm putting a platform for them, which was the ethos of Maknoon. I wanted to create a platform for these farmers to shine, for these farmers to be able to send their products around the world. And I remember one of them told me, you should be the ambassador of goodwill. And I was like, again, this little girl going like, talking to them. And I was like, what do you mean? I actually did not know the impact I was having. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you have no idea how much you've inspired us. We go around the town. We show everyone the Instagram page and we show everyone the beautiful bottles and we tell them, look where our olive oil is going. And he actually, one of them is a professor in a university in Lebanon who, had his dad passed away and he gave him the farm and his brother traveled. So he had to look after his brother's farm as well. And he told me each piece of land educates a child. Like, this is how they look into this land, as a blessing, as a way to make, a better living for their kids. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? He said, no one who's ever come to buy our olive oil told us it's that good, because they wanted us to drop the price. So they used to tell them, yeah, your olive oil is okay. And I was there telling them, okay, next year we're going to get into a competition. We're going to win, the first prize. We're going to do this. And then when they see what I am doing here on the ground to promote their olive oil, they get inspired and they want to do even better next year and the year after. Like I said, I did not know this impact until I actually went there, and until I saw, and until actually they told me. And this is the difference between working through a supplier or working, directly with these farmers. And honestly, now I want to meet a lot more farmers if I can. I've actually created a website called Maknoon for Good, with a form that all farmers and suppliers can apply a form, and I can get their details. And I want to get in touch with as many people as possible. And I want to create like a roadshow where I go to Lebanon and I visit all the farmers and I talk to them. And my absolute mission and vision is to be able to create a fund that is only dedicated to these farmers, where it helps them to cultivate better, it helps them to enhance maybe the technology, maybe the machinery, maybe the know-how. And this is how things happen naturally and organically, I guess.
Like one step at a time, but it's also the fact that you're helping them to continue with this tradition. Because I believe that some of them might end up giving up because it's not bringing them enough money, and it's not easy work. So with this, you're also contributing to a continuation, not just of heritage, of quality. And I believe, like you said in the beginning, these people are connected to the land. It's not just a tree, it's not just a product. So for them to give up on this, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's generations, thousands of years, families working in this field. So when you see yourself and that, with all the steps you've taken, but you, like you said, came gradually, that you arrived to this point, is there anything that you would go back and say, if I was to restart this again, I would change? Knowing what you know today?
Look, let's say I start another company now, I would do things differently. In terms of regrets, again, everything that happened, every mistake I made taught me something. So that's in terms of regrets. Yes, I have no regrets because I've learned.
Lessons learned. No regrets. Lessons learned.
But things I've changed 100%. I mean, when I started the company, I did not know the things I know now. And even if you ask, people give you their own answer based on their own experience, based on maybe them selling a service, not a product. I mean, it's all different. Nothing is as unique as when you actually are creating something. People have different whys. Maybe people give you advice based on you making money fast, or maybe not spending money, or maybe doing something that is like a quick win. Everyone will give you an advice based on their experience, not yours. So I learned things my way, and I learned things the hard way, actually. It was really tough. There were so many challenges that did not break me, but challenged me. Challenged me where, I always say that, and I'm sure you know that, we are responsible for how we feel. Life happens around you, it doesn't happen to you. But, because we take things personally and we think, I'm a failure, someone else made it faster than me, someone else is making money now, someone else is posting that they're selling out, why am I not selling out? It's all self-inflicted. Even the failures, they're not failures. There are things that just happened to to make you change your direction, because if it didn't happen this way, you wouldn't have changed. And again, there are so many examples I can give you where I hit a wall and I was like, why am I hitting this wall? And then I changed direction and I was like, oh, that's much better. Well, I had to hit a wall for me to move the direction. But the way we're really hard on ourselves, you know, and we take things so personally. Like there were some things that happened to me that made me embarrassed even in front of close people to my heart, in front of my sisters or my brother or my husband. And maybe I wanted my husband to be proud of me faster, and maybe I wanted to make money faster so I can contribute to the household. You know, now offline, I was just telling you that I still celebrate when I get an order. And my brother actually, he was, and my husband too, by the way. I was celebrating. I got an order on my phone. I was like, yay! And my brother's like, what happened? He thought, wow, like I won the lottery. And I was like, I just got an order. And he was like, oh my God, you still celebrate? Like how? Like not unsuccessful, but like how, like you're still a rookie, you still celebrate when you get an order. You should be getting 100 orders every day and you should be immune to this. I was like, no, I always want to celebrate, especially when I get an organic order, not someone I know or a friend, you know, but someone who saw my product on Instagram and went to my website and ordered. It means a lot to me than the money value of it. It means that I was able to reach someone. I made a good impression. They looked at my product, they believed the message that I was saying, and they bought it. You know, they bought the message and they bought the product. And I cannot wait to package it and send it to them and write a note. Like these things will always be important to me.
And this is what will keep it going for you, because if
Yeah.
you celebrate it on daily orders.
Yes.
Or on orders generally, it's just adding to that why that you were talking about, which is keeping you going and that excitement, because it's not about Hanan or Maknoon or the bottle or olive oil. It's the whole concept of what you're delivering. You're delivering the best, and not just the quality, but also the passion that comes with it. So it's like an overall product that just tells a story. And you tell actually a story for each and every bottle.
Yes, there's a story. It's everything we've just talked about. There's a story of this olive tree that stands still no matter what. I mean, the reason why olive oil is so precious is because the tree needs nothing, basically. It just needs rain. You know, it doesn't need care. It doesn't need a lot of what people think it may. So basically, it stands still. It's deeply rooted. You know, it's any weather that comes. I mean, it's just a really resilient olive tree, and it reflects the people as well. You know, I always say that the essence of anything is its oil, whether it's oud or amber. It's the oil. You want the essence of rosemary or lavender, you get the oil of that. So to me, olive oil is the essence of the country and the essence of the culture. And this is why olive oil tastes different from different region. And also it tastes different from one year to another. Even within the same piece of land, there could be olive oil from this side and olive trees from a different side of the same farm. And each olive oil will give you a different flavor and a different variety and a different aroma. It's honestly, it's such a sensory experience.
Like each tree has its own personality.
Exactly.
Character. And they say the olive tree is one of the biggest givers trees because you can use more than one part. So it's not just, I know in some places they use even the stone of the olive as fuel. They grind it and use it as fuel.
Correct.
And
I mean, the oil itself, it's used for lamps. So it's oil. It used to be used for lamps, actually. And by the way, speaking of lamps, olive oil has different grades. So there's extra virgin, there's virgin, and then there's an oil that is not suitable for human consumption. And in Italy, there's an Italian word called lampante. and lampante comes from lamp. So even then, the oil can actually be used for something. You can use the olive branches themselves, you can boil them and you can drink them, and they're really good for you. The olive oil, also like the third press, can be used for soap. I mean, there are tremendous, ways you can use it, and in Arabic it's called mata'a. I don't know. Mata'a, shajra mata'a.
Generous.
Generous, abundant.
Abundant.
Correct.
Again, back to the abundance
Back
of
to
this
the
tree.
abundance.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Where does Hanan see herself going? Is Maknoon the only baby? Or is the baby she's going to take to watch until...
Yes,
adulthood?
Maknoon right now is the only baby I have, and it's a baby I hold very dear to me because it's not about me. It's not only about me. It's not just about creating a company and being a founder. And I know these things are nice. When someone says you're an entrepreneur or you're a founder, it means you've done something for yourself. But because it's unfolded into the place that it is right now, and it's actually connecting with so many communities around the Levant region, and something I didn't mention before is, so Maknoon was born to support communities, but in more ways than just buying olive oil from these communities. When the blast happened in Beirut, for instance, we donated 50% of our profits to the people that were affected. In Syria, when the earthquake happened, if you remember a few years ago, there was a huge earthquake happened in Syria and Turkey. We've also donated, I think, 50% or more of our profits to the White Helmets, which were taking care of the people that were affected. We currently, until today, we plant an olive tree in Palestine for every bottle of Palestinian olive oil that you buy from our website. This is like a promise and a pledge that we've done. We're working with institutions in Jordan. I think they're called APN, Arabic Institute for Plantation of Nature. And for every bottle of olive oil we sell, we plant an olive tree. So it goes beyond just buying olive oil from these countries. And the vision is very clear. The vision is working with a lot more farmers than we can. I don't want my olive oil just to be from one farm. I want it to be from 10 farms from each country. I want every farmer to work hard on bringing and competing. What's the better extra virgin olive oil? How can we make it better? Even if I have to have 10 different varieties on my website, I want people to celebrate everyone. I don't want to just get the best olive oil in that region and that's it. No, maybe today it's the best. Maybe next year the neighboring farm is going to be better. And there's no such thing as the best olive oil, because people ask me, what's the best olive oil in your opinion? I tell them, I don't know, who's the most beautiful girl in the world? It's subjective. Maybe it's your daughter, maybe it's your wife, maybe it's your sister.
It's a taste. It's acquired
taste. And maybe you're beautiful today. After 5 years, you're not as beautiful. So exactly the olive tree. This year, maybe it's given its best. Next year, if there's less rain or maybe more snow or something happened with the extraction process, the olive oil is not that great. So for me, I want to be inclusive. I want to involve as many farmers as I can. And what I want to do is not just help as many farmers as I can. I want my olive oil to reach everyone around the world, all the diaspora around the world, in Europe, in US, in Australia, in the UK. I want Maknoon to be on the shelves of Harrods. I want people to walk in and buy an extra virgin olive oil from Lebanon or from Palestine. Why not? I want to be in every duty free. I want it to be the little gift that you take with you if you're passing through the Middle East or the Gulf region, to take with you, because it's the essence of these countries, and it's basically a product of so much resilience and love and care and humanity.
Humanity. Abundance and humanity.
Yes.
And I see it. As you were describing all this, I was seeing them. Like when you said Harrods, duty free, I could just see them there. That beautiful packaging you have with the beautiful story. And there will be more and more of them with more stories to inspire generations to come and to keep people doing this.
Inshallah.
If you had a message for someone out there saying, I want to do something for the community, what would be your advice? Just anything that it could be one word, it could be more than one sentence. What does Hanan want to share with someone else who has similar passion but is afraid to take that step?
Look, we all have a superpower. Even if you think, oh, I'm not good at this or I'm not good at that, there is something. I mean, we are all born with a purpose inside us. And this light, that there's sparks, you just need to listen to it and it will spark and it will show you where you are. It doesn't have to be a company or you need to establish something. You need to, create a product. It could be something even smaller. Like the other day, I attended a talk, a Palestinian, actually no, an Iraqi doctor who went to Palestine. I was there at that talk, and he was بالضبط. And he spent 7 months there, and he came back, and he said, "Look, if you want to help, it's not just sending money. Work on your skill. Maybe there are so many institutes there that want an app developer, that want someone to talk to the orphan kids." Whether it's mental health or maybe write stories for them. There is so much that we can do to support communities. Just go online and find out, what do they need in Syria? What do they need in Palestine? What do they need? And it doesn't have to be just victims, of the war. It could be anything. It could be just going and, donating children's books to a school. There's so much that we can do. We always think that we have to do something big for it to have an impact. But it's the smallest things that have an impact, and not just money is the easiest way to support. But if you go online and you spend some time, we're online all the time anyway. And if you spend some time looking at these communities, digging deeper, understanding how their school system is. I say schools because I believe the new generation, the kids, they need us more than anyone else. So look into it. It could be maybe embroidering something or creating, like beautiful blankets for the winter. It could be anything.
It could be anything that you enjoy and you want to share it.
Exactly.
Which, in a way, you enjoy the goods and the gifts of your land.
Yes.
And you actually expanded it to other countries.
Correct.
So it started with Lebanese za'atar, story, olive oil, and then you expanded to other countries.
Correct. My skill set is not food or olive oil, it's branding. So I created a brand, and I created a luxury brand so that people can gift it with pride, and I created a story, and I'm good at storytelling, and that's why I am consulting, new businesses, brand builders, to help them how to build a brand. But the most important thing that creates a brand is when this brand is linked to you personally. You cannot create a brand that you're not passionate about. And how can you be passionate about something is when it's true to who you are, your purpose, and what sparks inside you. So that's the first thing people need to do. Not think outward what I'm going to do.
What sells, or what is successful.
Exactly, or logistics or operations. No, go inwards and see, okay, what makes me happy every day? Maybe I'm happiest when I'm cooking. Okay, how about maybe you create a brand that revolves around food? Maybe write a cooking book, maybe write a children's cooking book. These things will unfold. You don't have to have all the answers immediately. But start small, test your idea, go to local schools and do something around cooking, write a children's cooking book, donate it to children, around these communities, and the answers will come. You don't have to know all the answers.
Be attuned to the signs, like you did.
Yes.
You knew these signs came to you, you were aware of them.
Yes, I was ready.
And you acted upon it. And like you said, in a way, little acts of kindness go a long way. And abundance and humanity is what we're all after.
Yes, 100%.
Hanan, Thank you so much.
Thank
This
you
has
for
been
having me.
an amazing chat.
Honestly, it didn't feel like, I know there are cameras everywhere, but this felt like just a regular chat with you over tea and, the usual, just
That's
talking
fine.
about
It's
nice
all
things in life.
human code, that's it. That's what we are. The essence of us is actually, it's just being humans. And a human interaction, like you mentioned, is the most important thing that brings us up together rather than...
Yes, to think about other people, not just ourselves. That's the code.
Because those people are also supporting as you're supporting.
Yeah, we are all
so we're
one.
all interconnected.
We are all one.
We're all one. We're all one.
You know that.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
Really,
Thank
really.
you for having me, and good luck with this incredible platform. Really, I'm very proud to be.
I can't wait to have you again with the next level.
Inshallah.
When things are going exactly where you want them and beyond.
Inshallah.